Hello, space enthusiasts! Today, we have some exciting news about the SpaceX new expedition. SpaceX has just announced the launch window for Starship Flight 3, signifying a pivotal moment in SpaceX's aspiring journey. Hold on the excitement, we will break down all the details for you. Welcome back to our channel. Join the space exploration journey with us and discover challenges and mysteries of cosmic adventures. Well, SpaceX is set to conduct its third orbital test of the Starship rocket on Thursday, March 14th, depending on some regulatory approval. SpaceX has recently announced the launch of its rocket, revealing that the live stream of Starship's Flight 3 will commence at 7:30 a.m. EDT on Thursday. The live stream would start 30 minutes before the liftoff of the Ship 28, hinting a launch time of 8 a.m. EDT of the same day. Before moving on to launch details, first have a look at what a SpaceX Starship is. Starship is an extremely heavy rocket, which is especially built to carry enormous cargo and many astronauts into deep space missions. The 400-foot height stainless steel tower emerges over the Space Launch System. SpaceX measures its rocket can boast approximately double the thrust power of its NASA counterpart. The Spaceship 8 is made of stainless steel, which utilizes 10 million pounds of liquid methane and oxygen as fuel. The propellant can be stored at manageable temperatures than liquid hydrogen. It also requires less insulation, and there is less chance of leakage compared to NASA space launches. Starship is designed in such a way that it will eventually carry astronauts to the Moon, Mars, and other space missions in future. However, the SpaceX Starship is not yet to make it to orbit. The upcoming launch of Flight 3 aims to build on learning from the prior flights of the spaceships while achieving more ambitious objectives. It includes successful ascent burn of 2 stages, operating Starship's payload door, conducting a propellant transfer demo during the course of the upper stages coast phase, initiating the first-ever relight Raptor engine during spaceflight, and arraigning a controlled re-entry of Starship. SpaceX is ambitious to fly a new trajectory with new techniques such as in-space engine burns while ensuring public safety. It makes the third flight more motivated and ambitious than its predecessor 2 flights. Continuing its iterative development strategy for Starship rocket with new techniques, SpaceX persists in optimizing flight opportunities and achieving as much as it can from space expeditions. Through this flight, the company aims to push various boundaries with this space vehicle. Well, if you are curious to know about the reasons of the previous flight mishap and why it burnt and exploded approximately 3.5 minutes into the flight, SpaceX in its blog post mentioned that it has learned from previous flight tests of its Starships. They highlighted that 33 Raptor engines on the Super Heavy booster failed during the 13-engine booster backburn. There was some engineering fault on the engines. SpaceX stated that the most probable reason for the booster disassembly was the filter blockage, where liquid oxygen is supplied to the engines. This leads to a loss of pressure in the engine oxidizer turbopumps, resulting in engine failure and explosion of the vehicle. Since then, it made some hardware changes inside the booster oxidizer tanks for the third flight of the rocket that enhances its propellant filtration ability and improves its refining operations. By learning from earlier flights, SpaceX highlighted that it will introduce an innovative electronic thrust vector control system for the ship's 28 upper stage Raptor engine. The new control system is intended to enhance propellant loading actions before launch of flight. So, the exciting thing about this third flight is that Ship 28 will be the first one to fly with the electric thrust vector control system rather than hydraulic one. Various improvements have also been made to Ship 28 and the Heavy booster. Booster 10 now has a flat, bowl-shaped elliptical dome, whereas Ship 28 has some structural enhancements, some changes in vent positions, and functional payload door. Another exciting yet ambitious thing for you is about Starship trajectory. Ship 28 is planned to make a hard landing in the Indian Ocean rather than Hawaii if it completes its successful journey. This change in trajectory will enable them to make some supplementary tests during the flight. Hot staging is also intended to be conducted within 3 minutes of flight. Test opening and closing of the payload door is planned to test within 12 minutes. These tests will be followed by internal propellant transfer during the coast phase of the Starship within 24 minutes of the flight. The transfer test is crucial for upcoming space missions. Another thing that will surely excite you is the liquid oxygen quantity to be transferred. 10,000 kilograms of liquid oxygen is likely to be transferred between header and main tank. It will be done to accomplish the tipping point milestone, which will be the largest transfer of cryogenic propellant in space. If everything goes fine, the Starship will show the first relighting of Raptor engines in space within the first hour of its flight. Then, it will start controlled re-entry approximately in 45 minutes. Before the launch of Flight 3 of Ship 28, wet dress rehearsal was successfully conducted on March 4th after abandonment of 2 wet dress rehearsals in February. Wet dress rehearsals were aborted shortly after few amount of propellant was loaded. Now, Ship 28 is ready to launch from NASA Kennedy Space Center. All the arrangements and final preparations for the launch have been made. Rework on the launch pad is seen to have finished. Various ground tests ahead of the launch event have been conducted. However, SpaceX needs permission from the Federal Aviation Administration for Flight 3. Without the approval, it will remain grounded. The Federal Aviation Administration has confirmed that it has finished its investigation for the previous flight mishaps and suggested 17 corrective actions for the company. If the Starship completed the corrective actions, it will grant approval for its 3rd flight. SpaceX has learned from the earlier flights and have taken various corrective actions before the next launch. SpaceX is hoping to receive permission and plan the launch of its flight imminently. SpaceX closely monitors its performance and always innovates and adapts to address the adversities, which is a key element of its success so far. Space enthusiasts are indeed eagerly waiting for this exciting launch event of Ship 28. Let's hope for the best. If you want to get more updates about space expedition, stay tuned to our channel. Thanks for watching. Join us next time as we continue to reveal space expeditions.